Desperate for cash, the Straw Hat Pirates enter a secret race between pirate crews known as the Dead End Competition. There, they must battle against powerful people including a former marine-turned-pirate, Captain Gasparde, and the bounty hunter who wants to kill him. However, with Gasparde's deadly scheme, are all of his opponents doomed from the start? Welcome to Film Friday. Released in 2003, Dead End Adventure marks the first full-length feature One Piece film, with the previous three being released as double bills with other properties, and first of all I have to say, finally, it's about time. Being a full feature gives this film room to breathe and the chance to actually develop some characters for a change. The premise is the most interesting we've had so far, with the Straw Hats entering a contest that doesn't rely solely on strength, which allows Straw Hats who aren't part of the monster trio to really shine. Like Nami, for example. She really leads this film and is probably the MVP of the entire adventure. She's the one who discovers the race, enters the race, and sees the crew through the race via her extraordinary navigational skills, which really don't get enough focus even in the actual series. In fact, it really does feel like a more ensemble piece in general. Throughout the film, each member of the crew is required to perform their specialty in order for the team to survive. It really solidifies that the Straw Hats are a crew rather than three strong fighters with some tag-alongs like the previous films. And of course, I have to mention that this is the first film featuring Nico Robin as part of the Straw Hats. Her presence is amazing because it adds some worldly knowledge and maturity to this group that we're very used to seeing these days, but not so much in the era of this film. So not only are all of our main characters on point, but Dead End Adventure also presents us with a successful main antagonist for the first time in a One Piece film. Gasparde is simply terrifying. He isn't just some big guy for Luffy to beat up, he earns his status as the film's antagonist through his sheer cruelty, attitude, and vocal performance. He also has a Logia-type devil fruit which allows him to become candy syrup, which sounds stupid at first, but in the hands of Gasparde, it is somehow horrific. There's a particularly painful scene where Luffy punches him in the stomach, and Gasparde uses his candy syrup body to lock Luffy's hand in and begin to brutally pummel Luffy like a punching bag. Every hit feels like it would knock you as the audience out, and really amplifies the perceived strength of Gasparde. The only criticism I really have of him is more of a retrospective problem. Gasparde is a former vice admiral, and it's quite hard to accept that in this day and age. It was probably a good decision for the time period when we really knew nothing about the strength of vice admirals, but in retrospect he is far too weak to have ever achieved that rank. There's also the whole thing about how all vice admirals need to know some form of haki, so Gasparde's character just suffers a bit in retrospect, but I can't really blame the film's production team for that. Now, because this is a full-length film, we have the chance not only to develop an antagonist, but also a bit of a movie original anti-hero in the bounty hunter Shiraya. Now, I like this character a lot. He's kind of like what would happen if Portgasty, Ace, and Trafalgar Law had a child, so he's super cool and has a very sleek fighting style. Of course, he's also a bounty hunter, which is exciting in its own right, because do you remember bounty hunters? No, neither do I. They're such a neglected aspect of the One Piece world. I mean, what is the point of continually increasing Luffy's bounty if nobody is coming after him? We haven't really seen any since Zoro, Johnny, and Yosaku, so Shiraya's addition to the story is more than welcome, and he just works as a character. There's a very long fight scene that takes place with Gasparde, his lackey, and Shiraya, and it's captivating. I genuinely feel like watching it rather than wondering where the Straw Hats are. Which is full credit to the original characters created for this film. I mean, even the annoying staple child character is actually alright in this movie. I think it definitely helps that there's a twist in here and that the young boy is actually a young girl, but on the whole, the child character just isn't anywhere near as annoying as the previous three child characters. Her resolution is a bit tough to take, though, as it turns out she's the long-lost sister of our bounty hunter, but hey, it is still the best story we've really had so far. And I do have a few other criticisms related to the story. For a start, how the Straw Hats find Gasparde for the final showdown is explained in one line, and that line is by using Chopper's nose. And I don't find that to be anywhere near an acceptable explanation for how they can track down a ship that could be anywhere in the Grand Line by then. Plus, Chopper had never even met Gasparde, so yeah. Another issue I have is that they kind of overuse the standard beats of One Piece. For example, the classic Luffy being shot by a bullet and the shock of it not working because he's rubber. That gets used not once but twice in this film, and each time the film is looking for an equally as shocking effect. Once is alright because it works as an introduction to people who may not have read or seen One Piece, but twice is just lazy and ineffective. There are also some minor character things that bug me, like Zoro leading the group through the dark tunnel. I mean, Zoro's entire joke is that he has no sense of direction, and if it was used for some kind of humor then it might have been great, but it isn't. Instead, he is the earnest leader, and it feels out of character. Despite those minor issues, Dead End Adventure is a great One Piece film. In fact, it's the best of the first four by far. Prior to this, the One Piece movies had a stock formula: crew travels to an island for X reason, and fights bad guys, liberating the inhabitants. Dead End Adventure goes so far beyond that, and attempts to expand on the One Piece world, rather than tell an isolated story that doesn't get in the way of the rest of the series. It features elements that the main series doesn't focus on. It is well worth watching, even for non-One Piece fans, and continues the trend of even-numbered One Piece films being amazing. The ending of Dead End Adventure leads directly into the next One Piece film, and that's where we're going to leave this review. Next time we'll be taking a look at Movie 5, The Cursed Holy Sword. And let me tell you right now that if you're a Zoro fan, prepare to be very disappointed. In any case, this has been the Grand Line Review, and I'll see you next time for another Film Friday.